Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today I will be presenting about the topic, the Mulder University of your immune system and how tattoos affect the immune system. Introduction. Mulder University. So, as a child, we grow up to become humans and we have jobs. Well, so our body is exactly the same. Stem cells actually have a way to choose their job, like to become immune cells or just become mast cells or become like any type of cells they want. But if they want to become an immune cell, they have to go for Mulder University. And if they fail, they die. So where does it take place? Well, the Mulder University actually has its own organ in the body. It's the thymus, a chicken wing-sized organ above the heart and the lungs, which plays a crucial role in determining the age where the immune system weakens and limiting cell growth. So, how does Mulder University work? Well, before we dive, and as said before, the thymus is responsible for the Mulder University. But before we dive in deeper about this, we need to learn the language of life, protein puzzle pieces. So protein puzzle pieces in a nutshell. So these are, protein puzzle pieces are what I call protein chemicals, and with every cell has a receptor that can connect to a certain piece of protein. And this is actually the flaw where how the immune system actually attacks bacteria. It snatches to the bacteria's protein and has two options. One, recognize it as the enemy. Two, recognizes it as friendly. So how does the Mulder University work? Well, your own cells can become immune cells, as I've said before, and which can self-destruct if they're learning and they fail. And the survival rates of immune cells are only 2%. But that stops the immune system from actually attacking your own body and your own self. This is not working. Also, this is a summary image of how the Mulder University actually works. So it's kind of like a short passageway of teacher cells touching the student cells from both sides. And then if the student cells recognize the teacher cells as enemies, they have orders to self-destruct, and it gets cleaned up by the macrophages. Autoimmune reflux. Now, everybody here has at least screwed up once. Who doesn't agree with me? And so now your inner body screws up by letting a failed student through, not sending a self-destruct signal to clean it up. And what now? Why is this not working? Autoimmune reflux too. The immune system has accidentally left one of your own immune cells without killing it, which can recognize your own body as enemy, corrupted and possibly causing an attack on you and potentially causing death. So, how do you stop or prevent autoimmune reflux? As the immune system is not a guarantee against infections, it is only responsible for controlling pain and preventing the spread of infections, not the immune system itself. So this is basically you punching you in the face, but now there's no you to help you solve the problem. Now we're done with it growing up. Let's toast stuff to deal with, like tattoos. Working. The immune system against a tattoo. Variable of death. Now, as the largest organ in the body, the skin has many jobs, one of which is keeping pathogens, viruses, and bacteria out of your body. So it came up with an idea, and your outer layer of skin to become like living cells won't work. So it has only one option left, and that is dead cells. Stem cells hide down dermis clone themselves repeatedly for them to push the skin cells up, and when they get to the top layer, they die to form a layer of dead cells. So literally everybody is wearing a layer of dead cell right now. So the layer that we're tattooing on, so there are 3 main layers on our skin. One is the epidermis, second is the dermis, and the third is the hypodermis. The epidermis is the layer of dead cells I talked about. The dermis is where hair, capillaries, and your immune system are, and the hypodermis is where the fat is. Now, the epidermis is too low for you to tattoo on, and it's mainly composed of dead cells, so we can just peel it off. The hypodermis would be too deep in and would cause immense pain, and there's only fat, so there's no point of tattooing into it. And the dermis is the perfect layer because that's where the skin cells clone themselves, and the ink can just stick onto the stem cells to just clone themselves again. Now that's tattoo. So this might be scary for you, and it could be normal to anyone who's tattooed, but so actually spikes puncture skin. Yeah, tattoo spikes puncture skin. They cause a painful cycle of piercing and dispensing ink, and causing cell damage and death. Then then bacteria and viruses actually go through the ripped areas of the tattoo, and then attracted by the stench of death, the immune system arrives to combat the infection. How it deals with a situation? Well, now the battleground is filled with ink, pathogens, dead cell bodies, and stem cells trying to close the ripped area. The immune system is clearly not impressed about the tattoo, cleans up the dead bodies, fight the pathogens. The last target is the ink. We deal with the ink. Now the immune system attacks tattoo ink. T cells self-destruct signals don't work, and acid doesn't work too, because tattoo ink is usually made of very poisonous and heavy metals such as lead, and so they had the only option left to just hold them in place and just not letting them spread further around their body. Once something dies that is holding it in place, new cells rush in to just close it in place. And the ink is not always in the same place because it can float away. Once it is float away, it gets recaptured again very easily. But as I said before, it's not always in the same place. The immune system doesn't actually know how to return it to the original place. So it just stays there where it floated to. This is actually the reason why the tattoo gets less vibrant and its edges gets less edgy over time. Now, some of you might have regrets having a tattoo, and we want to remove the tattoo. So this actually might be scary, but it's scary for me, but not for you, I think. Now laser punctures the skin and burns the tattoo ink down to smaller pieces. Then the immune system gobbles it up and transports it to the liver to just exit out of the body. And then it can take more than a dozen laser sessions to fully remove a tattoo. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.